Sometimes the most profound lessons are hidden in plain sight, not in some dense philosophy book, but right there, in something as familiar as a school textbook. So today, we're going to deconstruct one of those textbooks to find what just might be a hidden blueprint for life itself. I mean, what if that collection of stories and poems you read way back when wasn't random at all? What if it was actually a deliberate, carefully constructed journey, a journey designed to build you from the inside out? Let's dive into that idea.
So, where does this journey begin? Well, it has to start with the self, right? So, Act 1 is all about the foundation of character. And to show us how it's done, the curriculum grounds us in the childhood of one of India's most beloved figures, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
We're dropped right into Ramaswaram during World War II. Callum describes a childhood that was, austere, really simple, no luxuries, but incredibly secure. His father valued honesty and discipline above everything else. His mother was this amazing example of generosity, often feeding more strangers than her own family. So the environment he grew up in taught him that the real currency wasn't money, but this deep sense of emotional security and spiritual wealth. But of course, this secure little world gets challenged. A new teacher shows up at school and sees Kalam, a Muslim boy in a cap, sitting right next to his best friend, who happens to be the son of a Hindu priest, and the teacher just can't handle it. He orders Kalam to the back of the class. I mean, for a kid, that's just a raw, painful moment of prejudice, and it's the first real test of all those values he was raised with.
And the response? It's immediate, and it is powerful. The friend's father, the high priest himself, calls the teacher in and lays it out, crystal clear. You will not spread the poison of social inequality. He tells the teacher to either apologize or get off the island. And listen, this isn't just about being passively tolerant. No, this is an active, principled defense of their community's values, showing young Kalam that you have to stand up and fight for what's right.
And you see this theme of defiance start to scale up. It happens in these small, intimate moments, like when Kalam's science teacher invites him over for dinner and serves him with his own hands to defy his wife's prejudice. And then we see it build into something much bigger, a more public form of defiance, which brings us right to our next section.
Okay, so you've built this moral core. Now what? Act 2 asks, what happens when you take that character out into the real world? What does it actually take to achieve something extraordinary? Here, the curriculum uses two different biographies to explore the universal price of ambition.
Okay, this is what's so fascinating. The curriculum gives us this incredible contrast. On one hand, you've got Santoshi Yadav from a traditional village where girls were supposed to get married at 16. Her biggest battle was against societal norms. On the other hand, you have Maria Sharapova from Siberia, sent away to the US for tennis training before she was even 10. Her challenge was this crushing loneliness. Their worlds couldn't be more different, right? And yet, the path to the top was forged from the exact same stuff. And Sharapova's mantra, it just cuts right to the heart of it. For her, becoming the best wasn't some fun hobby. It was a job. It demanded this almost brutal focus in an acceptance of huge sacrifice. And that same grit, that's exactly what you see in Santosh Yadav, who is so determined to forge her own path that she paid her own school fees when her parents refused. So the big takeaway here is pretty clear, right? It doesn't matter where you come from, whether you're fighting social norms in a small village or battling loneliness on a global stage, the path to greatness demands the same currency, that non-negotiable price of hard work and sacrifice. All right, so we've gone from the self to the pursuit of excellence. Now, in Act 3, the lens pulls way, way back. It asks us to think about our place not just in our own community, but in the entire world and our shared responsibility to each other and to the planet itself. And to do this, the curriculum makes a really interesting choice. It shifts to poetry, specifically free verse. By ditching the strict rules of rhyme and meter, the poets can basically speak directly to you, making their moral arguments feel incredibly urgent and real. So you'd get this poem, No Men Are Foreign, and it's just this incredibly powerful plea for unity. The argument is that things like national uniforms and borders, they're just on the surface. Underneath it all, a single body breathes. We all walk on the same earth, share the same sun, and we're all fed by peace and starved by war's long winter. The poet hammers home the word remember, like a moral drumbeat, commanding us to see our shared humanity. And all of this builds to the poem's absolutely devastating conclusion. When we go to war with each other, we're not just hurting some enemy. We are literally defiling the human earth. The hells of fire and dust from our conflicts pollute the very air that all of us need to breathe. At the end of the day, the poem is screaming at us that war is just self-destruction. Then, the curriculum throws us a curveball with the next poem, On Killing a Tree. It's written in this cold, almost instructional tone, like a how-to guide for destroying a tree. But that's the whole point, right? The irony is its power. By spelling out just how much effort it takes to actually kill a tree, that a simple hack and chop isn't enough, it forces us to really see the violence of the act. And in doing that, it shows us nature's incredible, stubborn resilience, its absolute will to survive.
Okay, so let's take a breath. We've journeyed from the inner self to society, all the way to the entire globe. We've seen these stories of courage, ambition, and global responsibility. So in our final act, we're going to pull back the curtain and find the one powerful idea that ties all these lessons together.
And that unifying thread, the one thing holding it all together, is resilience. And check this out. It's shown to us in 4 different dimensions. You've got moral resilience, with Kalam's community standing up to prejudice. Then there's social resilience, with Santosh Yadav breaking free from tradition. It gets personal with emotional resilience, as Maria Sharapova endures that intense loneliness. And finally, you see it in the world around us, with biological resilience, the tree's tenacious fight for life. You see, each story was actually a case study in a different kind of strength.
So, when you put it all together, you realize what we've been looking at isn't just some random reading list. It's an architectural blueprint. It is a deliberate, intentional journey that starts with building your own moral foundation, tests that foundation through the pursuit of excellence, and then expands your view to encompass the entire world. So at the end of the day, that's the secret ingredient for overcoming pretty much any obstacle, social, emotional, or moral. It's resilience. The curriculum we've just walked through isn't just a collection of stories. It's a map for building that resilience in yourself. So the only question left is, where will you apply it?